The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Race fans, get ready for Chase to the Checkered. The skies cleared at Jennerstown Speedway as racing made a rare appearance last Sunday afternoon. The usual Saturday night excitement was sure to be found at the Laurel Highlands Oval. We had spills, thrills, and a little unhappiness. Chase to the Checkered starts now.
Hi, I'm Gail Blotzer from, oh God, I'm scared. I'm Gail Blotzer, I'm from Laughlin Town. And gentlemen? Wait, should I just Hi, I'm Gail Blotzer, I'm from Laughlin Town, and race fans, start your engines!
Race fans, welcome back to Chase to the Checkered. Rainy skies last Saturday forced Jennerstown Speedway management to postpone racing until Sunday. And what a gorgeous but windy day we had. Under the sunny skies, the drivers at Jennerstown Speedway were ready to go racing, and the fans would not be disappointed. First up this week, the highlights of the Jennerstown Speedway Street Stock Division. Number 76, Billy Mossdaller, took off with the early lead, but the pack was swarming behind him. By lap 4, number 73, Roger Onstead, had worked his way beside Mossdaller and passed him, bringing number 0, Dink Colarusso, with him. But Colarusso wasn't satisfied with second. 2 laps later, he rubs his way past Onstead, taking the lead. As we see in the C2C second look, do not try to pass like this on the parkway, folks. The field lined up for the remainder of the race and followed Dink Colarusso across the finish line. This was the 3rd street stock victory in 4 races for the West Mifflin driver.
I think the experience, my 5th year in that race car, you kind of know what the car will give you, where your boundaries are with pushing it. Makes it look a little easier than what it actually is when you're in there. I owe Roger Olmsted a favor. I got loose over there and it kind of jumped out from under me, and he cut me a break, left me go when I kind of went up in front of him there. So I got to cut him a break later in the year.
Colarusso was followed by Roger Onstead, Billy Mossdaller, Jason Fritz, and Jason Holder in the top 5 finishers. The win keeps Dink Colarusso 8 points ahead of Roger Onstead. Jason Holder, Jason Fritz, and Somerset's Bobby Young round out the top 5 in points in the Jennerstown Speedway Street Stocks. In the makeup race in the Jennerstown Speedway Modifieds, Charleroi Matt Smith in the number 31 took home the prize. He was followed by Mike Bacalon, Paul Urso, Matt Panaya, and Brian Stevenson in the top 5. In the second feature of the Modifieds, number 37, Paul Urso, leapt out into the lead and brought number 1, Mike Bacalon, and others with him. 3 laps in, Bacalon was chomping at the bit to get around Urso. And a lap later he would, taking the lead and opening the door for number 31, Matt Smith. But Urso closed it in a hurry. It would take him 8 laps, but Smith used the high side and passed Urso for second on the front stretch. As we approached the Checkered, Smith had chipped away at Bacalon's lead and worked his way alongside. Coming up to the finish line, it would be a near photo finish. Mike Bacalon wins by a tire and a nose. This was the first 2003 Jennerstown Speedway win for North Versailles' Mike Bacalon.
The first race, I was trying to get him, and in the last race here, I think he had probably more than I did down the straightaway, but I knew he couldn't go to the outside. I let him have that, but oh well, next week. This division's really close in the top. The people that's been running in this division for years, and I'll tell you what, you can race side by side, door to door with them. On an open wheel car, that's hard to say because one touch, that's all it takes.
Bacalon was followed by Matt Smith, Paul Urso, Bob Bench Jr., and Matt Panaya in the top 5 finishers in the feature. The win moves Bacalon into a tie for first place with Paul Urso and Matt Smith in the Jennerstown Speedway Modified Division points. Jason Bush and Brian Stevenson round out the top 5. Coming up on C2C, we have 4 more divisions to cover, including the Rolling Rock Late Models and the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks. But first, let's see if you can make the connection. Brought to you by RaceFansConnect.com, the ultimate place to meet race fans. What is Dink Colaruso's real first name? You know, the one you're not supposed to call him? Is it Donald, Tracy, Elroy, or Harlan? We'll have the answer coming up later on Chase to the Checkered. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors. Welcome back, race fans, to Chase to the Checkered. Next up on C2C, the highlights from the Rolling Rock Late Models. When the green flag dropped, number 95 Gary Wiltrout shot out into the lead. But by lap 5, number 75 Barriotti challenged the leader and roared by Wiltrout, taking the position. Audi stretched out his lead over the pack and won the Rolling Rock Late Model feature. This was the first win for the Jenners PA driver at Jennerstown Speedway in 2003.
Yeah, a couple times there it was 3 wide with lap traffic. That wasn't good.
Barriotti was followed by Bobby Henry, Neil Brown, Mark Catone, and Tommy Beck in the top 5. His third place finish helps to keep 2-time track champion Neil Brown on top of the points in the Rolling Rock Late Models. The Acme driver is just 12 points ahead of Connellsville's Bobby Henry. Mark Catone, Barriotti, and Gary Wiltrout round out the top 5 in points. Next up, the action from the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Truck feature. Number 96 Todd Price took off with the lead. He's the 2001 Pro Truck Division champ, so he knows his way to the front. But number 97 Jason Lasky was thundering through the herd. Here he gets past 2002 Division champ, number 8 Marion Reno Jr., and takes the position. Reno and number 20 Josh Kogenauer fought door-to-door for third. Kogenauer would pull ahead for the position. Price had built a healthy lead, but Lasky was creeping up on him slowly, chipping away at the distance. With 7 laps to go, Lasky pulled alongside of Price. The two battled door to door, but Lasky had a strong truck and the inside line and pulled ahead for the lead. Jason Lasky continued to distance himself from Price and the field and crossed the line for the win. 2 weeks ago, Team Lasky celebrated an emotional first career win for Jason. This race, they're in victory lane again. This is the second win in a row for the Johnstown driver.
You just want to keep your focus. It's all about the concentration. You got to stay smooth. Once you start thinking that you're gaining on them, you're probably going to start slowing down. You just keep your game plan. We've been hooked up the past 2 weeks. The weather stayed good this weekend. I didn't think we were going to get taught either. Just had to be patient and run them down and race them from there once we caught them.
Lasky was followed by Todd Price, Josh Kogenauer, Derek Wink, and Marion Reno Jr. in the top 5 finishers. In the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Truck points, the win helped Lasky creep closer to points leader Todd Price. 6 points now separate the two drivers. Marion Reno Jr., Josh Kuchenauer, and Adam Kostelnik make up the top 5 in points in the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks. And speaking of the Pro Trucks, coming up next weekend at Jennerstown Speedway is the Tommy Gale Memorial 64. It's a 64-lap feature of the Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks. Marion Reno Jr. was the champ last year. Will he be able to defend his crown? Get to Jennerstown Speedway next weekend to find out. Next up, it's the PA Legacy Series. The 2002 Series champ, number 26, Joey Denowitz, was back at the Laurel Highlands Oval. And at the start of the race, he took his familiar position way out in front of the pack. But the rest of the pack was swarming like hornets behind him. The champ's lead would disappear a few laps into the race when mechanical problems forced him to pit. This was good news for number 70, PJ Ehrlich, since he gained the lead. The bad news was that past series champ Jamie Bolkovac was right on his bumper. Two laps later, Bolkovac gained the inside line and passed Ehrlich for the lead. After a caution on lap 10, Ehrlich and Bolkovac were again side by side. But the 24 darted ahead as the number 04 car of Rick Boyer moved alongside of Ehrlich to challenge for second. Boyer would get by, but a caution on lap 13 involving number 74 Dan Brink and number 53 Lauren Butler in turns 1 and 2 would bunch everyone up again. On the restart, PJ Ehrlich got loose coming out of turn 4. But he got it turned around with no problems. Bolkovac would again take off with the lead, leaving Rick Boyer, PJ Ehrlich, and the rest of the pack in their dust. But with 5 laps to go, Rick's brother, Brett Boyer, had found the wall outside of turn 2, slowing everyone down for a restart. When the race resumed, Bolkovac built up a nice lead again, and she went on to win the PA Legacy Series feature at Jennerstown Speedway. This was the first Jennerstown Speedway victory for Greensburg's Jamie Bolkovac in 2003.
Well, I know back in the day, a couple years ago, it always come down to 5 laps to go and there was a caution. I kept finishing second. It's about time. It's like now the cautions are coming out 5 laps to go. And I'll tell you what, we had a pretty good car today. I think a shock went bad, but that's okay. I mean, I held on to it.
Jamie Bolkovac kept her helmet on since she was also racing in the Rolling Rock late model feature shown earlier in C2C. She was followed by Rick Boyer, PJ Ehrlich, Chris Brink, and Kyle Martell in the top 5 feature finishers. In the PA Legacy Series points, Glen Campbell, Pennsylvania's Chris Brink is in the lead. He's followed by PJ Ehrlich, Jamie Bolkovac, George Stockman, and Rick Boyer in the top 5 in points. Coming up on Chase to the Checkered, we'll have the highlights from a bumpy Jennerstown Speedway Charger feature. Plus, we'll take a look at what's coming up in the next few weeks at the Laurel Highlands Oval. But first, have you been able to make the connection yet? RaceFansConnect.com wants to know if you can guess what Dink Colarusso's real first name is. Is it Donald, Tracy, Elroy, or Harlan? We'll have the answer coming up after this on Chase to the Checkered. Welcome back to Chase to the Checkered. Now it's time to see if you made the connection. Brought to you by RaceFansConnect.com, the ultimate place to meet race fans. What is Dink Colarusso's real first name? What did you guess? Did you guess Donald, Tracy, Elroy, or Harlan? If you guessed Tracy, you made the connection. But don't tell Dink you heard it from us. And don't call him Donald, Elroy, or Harlan either. Now, on to the highlights from the Jennerstown Speedway Charger Division. The Brooks Automotive Group pace car slipped into the pits, and Greg Preisner in the number 27 car was on the pole, next to the number 02 of Mike Stevens. Praisner jumped out with the lead while the rest of the pack fought for position down the backstretch. As the field went into turn 3, number 79, Bruce Bond, gets loose and sideways. Bond gets back around, and the race continues without a caution. Meanwhile, number 94, Travis Smith, was streaking through the pack. Here he gets by number 24, Chantal Germack, for 4th. Next, he tries to get by Phil Grubbs. But Smith gets loose coming out of turn 2, and Grubbs holds his position. A few laps later, Smith uses the high line and gets past Grubbs. In a blink, Smith is alongside of the second place Mike Stevens and the number 02. He gets by him and is one step away from the leader, Greg Praisner. 3 laps later, Smith uses the high line again and powers by Praisner for the lead. But as he comes across the start-finish line with 1 lap remaining, number 79, Bruce Bond, goes low, but then comes back up to collide with the leader, sending him spinning and into the wall between turns 1 and 2. Now let's flash back to the Charger feature 2 weeks ago. Travis Smith is in the lead, but he makes contact with Bruce Bond, damaging the car. This week, the two collide again, which leads to a few comments aimed towards Bond. Meanwhile, on the track, Jennerstown Speedway safety crews and EMTs work to free Smith from his car. He's shaken a bit and has a concussion, but is otherwise okay. Smith goes for a ride in the ambulance. Bond gets black flag and goes for a ride to his pit box. His race is over. Smith's car gets a ride back to their pit box. We'll have to see if they can get it back together for next week. The restart would mean fans would be treated to a green-white checkered finish. Greg Praisner took off with the lead. But as they came across the finish line, Praisner took the win, but second was close. Who took it? Let's take a C2C second look. Mike Stevens in the number 02 takes second by a bumper. It doesn't get much closer than that. This was the first Jennerstown Speedway victory for Level Green's Greg Praisner in 2003.
Yeah, there sure was a lot of action over there. I don't know exactly what happened. I just saw they got together. I've struggled here for the past 3 weeks. I thought I couldn't catch a break if my life depended on it, and it was unfortunate what happened over there, but I'll take it.
Praisner was followed by Mike Stevens, Phil Grubbs, Chantal Germack, and Rick Phillips in the top 5. In the Jennerstown Speedway Charger Division points, North Huntington's Chantal Germack is in the top spot. She's followed by Greg Praisner, Phil Grubbs, Mike Stevens, and Travis Smith in the top 5 in points. Coming up tonight at Jennerstown Speedway, it's 7 divisions of racing. The Rolling Rock Late Models, Tommy Gale Hallmark Trailers Pro Trucks, the Jennerstown Speedway Modifieds, Street Stocks, Chargers, the PA Legacy Series, and Men's Enduros. All this action for one low price. Adult admission is just $10. Kids 12 and under get in for free. For more information, call the Speedway office at 814-629-6677. Then, next Saturday night, Tommy Gale Trailer Sales presents the Tommy Gale Memorial 64, a 64-lap Pro Truck feature. Don't miss a second of the action, race fans. Finally, be sure to visit ChaseToTheCheckered.com. In addition to being able to buy hats, shirts, jackets, and C2C tapes, we want you to send us your comments about the show. Racing is all about the fans, and so is C2C. So get online and race to ChaseToTheCheckered.com. I'm Steve Richard. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Chase to the Checkered. We'll see you next week right here on UPN 19. But we hope to see you tonight at Jennerstown Speedway.